Good evening. I'm J.D. Weisolick. I am the founder of AZ College Planning, and welcome to this presentation for this evening. So let's go ahead and get started. Good evening. Okay. All right. So good evening. My name is J.D. Weisolick. I am the founder of AZ College Planning, and welcome. So let's ask and address a few questions. So what do you do? Well, I have 3 children, and when the kids were younger, occasionally one or more, or even all of them, would say, "I'm bored." And my response was always the same. You can choose to be bored, or you can choose to do something. Be creative. So what are you going to do? Do you need help figuring out something constructive to do? Sometimes they would ask for help for ideas. Sometimes they'd figure it out on your own. As students apply to college for the next few years, for many of them, in their resume, the spring 2020 and the fall 2020 sections of their resume is going to have a huge gaping black hole. Colleges are going to ask, what did you do during this time? And the answer for many of these students is going to be the same, and that is, I didn't do anything because the pandemic canceled everything. Similar to my kids saying that they were bored, these students had a choice to do something different. So what can you do if all of your events and all of your activities are canceled? Consider doing some virtual volunteering. If you're in a band and maybe you used to go to a nursing home and perform with your jazz band or something, why not do that virtually? Were you in choir and that used to sing at a care home? Again, why not do that virtually? Ask yourself this question. The things I used to do in my clubs, activities, and hobbies, how can I continue to do these things, and how can I do them virtually? So if you haven't done anything for the past few months, do something now. Consider volunteering virtually or performing some self-directed research or something. For my students that are artists, can you do a virtual art show? I'm asking you these questions to put seeds in your head so that you can come up with ideas. When you go to the internet and ask the internet what colleges are looking for to students, dozens of pages say pretty much the same thing. They're looking for strong grades, advanced classes, strong test scores, extracurricular involvement, community service, and all those things. So if all the students do the same thing, is that going to make that student stand out? And the answer is no. I forgot to tell you this, on the YouTube page with this live presentation, if you do have any questions, there's a chat feature on there. Go ahead and put those questions in there. And as time progresses, if I have time, I will answer those questions. So again, going back to my question and statement, if all the students are doing the same thing, will that make that student stand out? The answer is no. What colleges really want is they want these things. Show the college in your activities that you are a self-starter, driven, motivated, and have a desire to learn. Because ultimately, A college is a higher institution of learning. And if you show them these things and you want to learn, you may be admitted. So how can you do these things? Well, if you have questions on any of this stuff, please give me a call to schedule a meeting, and I'll be happy to discuss these things. We'll help you come up with some ideas and create a game plan. So let's go back to the comment of higher institutions are learning environments, and they want to admit students who have the desire to learn. When I was in 5th grade, my parents I actually asked my parents if I could have a birthday party. And they said, yes, you can have a birthday party, and we're going to limit it to 10 friends. Okay? And back at that time, the popular activity was mini golfing, so I could invite up to 10 friends, and we'd all go out mini golfing for my birthday. And I thought, oh, that would be awesome. Well, the word got out at school that JD's having a party. And Gary approached me and said I should invite him because, and this was his reasoning, he said he was moving away the next year and I would never see him again. And so reluctantly I invited Gary to my birthday party. Well, not only did he not come to my birthday party, I wasted an invitation on him. He didn't move away. That made me really kind of upset. Here's the tying this all together with college, why I told you that story, is colleges don't want to waste an invitation on admission on a student that really doesn't want to attend their college. So what we want to do is we want to show the college, hey, not only am I interested in attending your college, I'm also interested in learning, okay? So that's what we want to portray to the college in our resume and in our essay. So as an example, Luke, one of my students, Luke, came to my office for a student meeting. And we were casually talking when he mentioned that it was recently his birthday and he was gifted an iPad for his birthday. He was excited to tell me about his iPad, and he also was excited to tell me about how he figured out how to jailbreak it. What jailbreaking means is to remove the software restrictions on an Apple product. If you have any type of Apple product, iPhone, iPad, whatever, the only way that you can download any new software is to go to the iTunes store. You remove those constrictions, and so Luke figured out how to do that, and he was excited to tell me about that. And the next day, when he was at school, he was telling his friends, hey, I learned how to jailbreak my iPad. It's super cool. I can download anything now. And his friends were kind of impressed and said, hey, could you maybe do that to mine? And Luke was pretty quick, and he agreed and said, yeah, I could do that for $20. So he started a small little business. And when Luke came into the office and we were talking about all this stuff, he was telling me how he started this small little business, and a couple of his friends at school paid him $20 to do it. I said, wow, that's a great idea. Why don't you see if you can push that idea as far as possible? And I encouraged him to create a Craigslist ad. I can jailbreak your iPad, iPhone, iTouch, whatever for, a couple bucks here and there and stuff. So he was able to start a small little business on Craigslist performing this service. He was able to end up writing about this in his resume and in his college essay. So that's one thing that made Luke stand out when he was applying to colleges. To win the college game, you want to learn what you don't know that you need to know, but you really need to know so that you can position yourself to win the college game. if you know the rules of the game, yes, college admission and college scholarships is a game. When you understand those rules, then you can position yourself to win. So that's what I want to do tonight is give you a couple ideas and some of the rules when we're applying to college. So one of the first things that you need to know is the ranking system. And you may have heard about the college ranking system. Maybe you've seen some various ranking publications such as U.S. News and World Report Best Colleges. That publication is probably the most recognized college ranking publication. Forbes has one, Money Magazine, People. There's over a dozen different college rankings. The college ranking system is extremely valuable to colleges. And the reason is because of money. The bottom line is money. Lots of money, big money. Colleges figured out that if there's an upward trend in any category that is ranked, that attracts more attention. And with more attention comes more applications and more application fees. So last year, University of California, Berkeley was ranked the #1 public national university. And as an example, we'll talk about this college. They had 108,476 students apply to Berkeley for 4,000 freshman seats. And it costs $70 to apply. So if we do the math, 108,476 multiplied times $70, that's $7,593,320. $7.5 million was generated just in application fees. Here's a side note. $1 million, $100 bills stacked 4 feet high is $1 million. So imagine what $7 million, how tall that is. There's a fun fact for you. Okay. So with this knowledge of rankings and application fees, it becomes obvious why a college would want to recruit a specific student and entice that student with scholarships. So why do colleges give out scholarships? Colleges, the simple reason is because they want a particular student. Colleges ask many questions when they're determining which student do we want to admit to our new freshman class. And one of those many questions is, how will the student impact our rankings? Will this student impact our rankings positive, neutral, or negative? If the college determines that the student's impact will be negative, they're going to reject that student. If the college determines that that student might have a neutral impact on their rankings, well, maybe they'll admit that student and maybe they'll give them $1 in scholarships. Typically, those types of students that are admitted that have minimal impact on rankings or no impact at all typically get the smallest scholarships, okay? If the college determines that that student will have a positive impact on their rankings, then they're going to go, yes, we need this student to come to our school, and we will entice the student to choose our college by offering them scholarships. So when a college identifies a student that they want, that will increase their rankings in one or more categories, the college will do whatever they can to recruit that student, and in many cases make it financially viable with scholarships. So the key is to find out what areas are ranked and important to a college. Some colleges may value one thing, while another college may value another. If you have questions on any of this stuff, please do give me a call. Let's schedule a meeting to discuss these things. We can help you identify your strengths and help you identify some key colleges that would want a student like yourself. A couple acronyms that you need to learn. The first one is COA, which is cost of attendance. And the cost of attendance incorporates everything. It includes tuition, fees, books, lab fees, student ID card, parking pass, meal plan, dorm rooms, and more. Everything. We want to know what that cost is as we're identifying all these colleges. Recently, I read an article that said, and I'm quoting, and then you can start looking at colleges in your family's price range that offer degrees in those fields. Well, when you look up the COA, the cost of attendance, and see that a private college like Pepperdine University has an annual sticker price of $77,900 for 1 year, many families and students will not even consider applying to a college like that because they believe it is out of their price range. However, if this type of college identifies in you the things that they want from a student, because you would make a positive impact on their rankings, not only will you be admitted, but they could make it affordable. So when we're looking at colleges, the cost of attendance of the 3 schools that are here in Arizona, the 3 public colleges in Arizona, Northern Arizona University, NAU, ASU, and University of Arizona, U of A, down in Tucson. All 3 of those colleges are hovering around the same cost. They're all about $30,000 for each of those different colleges. Now, if you want to attend the Honors College, or you're looking at ASU Barrett Honors Program, then you can add some dollars on that, and those are around $37,000 per year is what their COA, their sticker price is. Again, that incorporates everything: the dorm room, tuition, fees, student ID card, parking pass, the whole thing. We want to know what that number is, okay? So in-state cost is somewhere between $30,000 to $37,000 per year. So again, please don't throw out a college based solely on the sticker price. It's important to do the research first and figure out where you fall in that demographic. You can give us a call and schedule a meeting. We'll help you identify colleges that would want a student like yourself. One thing that you do, that I'm going to encourage you to do, is to explore colleges and visit the campuses. There are 3 colleges here in Maricopa County in the greater Phoenix area. We've got ASU, Grand Canyon University, and Arizona Christian University. The reason why I'm asking you to go visit those colleges, especially if you live somewhere in this valley, is it's not a big time or money commitment to visit those 3 colleges. Half an hour, maybe an hour drive to any one of those campuses, and then maybe an hour or 2 on the tour. So not a big time or money commitment. And again, I want you to visit those 3 colleges to give you a basic idea of the 3 different types of colleges. We've got ASU, which is a large public school. We've got Grand Canyon University, which is a mid-sized private college. And then Arizona Christian University, which is a small religious college. When you visit Arizona Christian University, look at it through 2 lenses. The first lens is the size of the campus and the size of the school. And the second lens is going to be through the religious lens, okay? Again, the reason why I want you to do that is because it's not a big time or money commitment. When you do go out of state or do a little bit longer travel, now you've got something that you can weigh, balance, compare, and contrast. So you get the basic idea and the basic starting point with that. So that when you go on these tours, you don't get all starry-eyed on your first tour, okay? So when my daughter was looking at colleges, we did a big road trip and we went up to Seattle and visited Pacific Lutheran University. And during the tour guide walked us around and said, here's our dorms, here's our cafeteria, and here's our science building. It's awesome. It's made out of recycled material, solar panels, green, and we were like, wow, we were kind of impressed. Then we drove down to Salem, Oregon, and visited Willamette University. And during the tour guide walked us around. Here's our dorm, here's our cafeteria, and here's our science building. It's awesome. It's made out of green materials, solar, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, we just heard that. And then we drove down to Stockton, California, and visited University of the Pacific, and went on the tour there, and the tour guide said, green, solar panels, blah, 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 recycled material for our science building. We're like, okay, cross that off as being unique and different, and focus on the things that truly are unique at each one of these campuses. The more colleges that you visit, the more informed you're going to be, and you're going to see a lot of similarities between these colleges. Take those similarities and throw those out and really focus on the unique things of each one of these campuses. When you visit a college or you speak with a enrollment advisor or college recruiter, if you don't leave with the impression of, wow, that school's amazing, I want to go there, know that they did a bad job. That is their job, to make you want to apply and attend their college. You can find the cost of attendance by going to the college's website, and in the search window type in cost of attendance, and that's going to bring you to their financial page. It'll break down all the different costs. This is how much it is for a dorm. If you've got a double person dorm, or a triple person dorm, or a single person dorm, and then here's what your meal plans are, and then tuition, all that stuff. You could add all those numbers together, and that's what your annual cost is at that particular college. If you really want to scare yourself, do this. Go to that website, the college's website, figure out what the cost of attendance is, and then multiply that times 4 years, and then multiply it again times the number of kids that are in your household. 2 kids, 3 kids, etc. And that's enough to give anybody a coronary right there. And have you asked yourself, how in the world are we going to be able to afford that? And I've talked with literally hundreds of families, and these are some of the ideas that they've told me as ways to pay for college. And always the first one that comes up is, well, my kid's going to get a private scholarship. So let's put a definition on what private scholarship is. A private scholarship is a scholarship that your student applies for and wins. So if your student receives an email or a letter that says, congratulations, you've won this scholarship, and they haven't applied for it, it's probably a scam. Especially if that letter says, mail us $100 and we'll tell you which one you've won. So that's the first thing, is that your student has to apply for it. And of the $137 billion of financial aid that's available, less than 2% of that consists of private scholarships. Everybody's going after these pennies, and I want to go after the bulk of the money, and the bulk of the money is going to fall into these 3 categories. The first category is federal funds, the second category is state funds, and then the third category, which is the big kahuna of the 3, and that is the college's endowment funds. There are some colleges that are rich, and then there are other colleges that are just flat uber rich. Harvard claims the #1 spot as being the wealthiest college. They have $37 billion in their endowment fund. Okay, Contrast that to Arizona State University, ASU. ASU has just shy of $1 billion. Still, that's an enormous amount of money, okay? So private scholarships are the first thing that parents talk about as a way to pay for college. Again, let's go after the bulk of the money, which is going to be endowments, through their endowments and through those scholarships. Always the second one that comes up after that is, well, my kid's an athlete, my kid's going to get an athletic scholarship. I'm sorry to tell you this, but unless your student is the next NBA, the next NFL, or the next Olympian, the likelihood of getting a full athletic ride is slim. Now, I'm not going to say no to $5,000, as if you go to the NCAA's website, the average men's baseball scholarship is about $5,000, which is way short of the total cost of attendance. But I'm not going to say no to $5,000. But where is, in the case of ASU being $30,000, where's the other $25,000 going to come from? Another way that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we're going to do it through our savings. And I read a statistic that the average family has saved $10,000 or less to apply for college. Now, if you save more than this, then God bless you, you're better than the average. Now the question is, the money that you have saved, how does the financial aid system look at that money? And there are three categories of money. The first category of money is money that is in the student's name. And that gets assessed at the highest level, okay? Anywhere from 25 to 50%. The second category of money is money that's in the parent's name, and that gets assessed at a lower percentage, anywhere from 5 to 15%. So sometimes just by rolling over who the owner of that financial product is, no, the student's not the owner, the parent is the owner. Sometimes we can qualify for more need-based aid. And then there's a third category, and that third category has the retirement umbrella over it, and anything that's in that category is not assessed in the financial aid formula. And ideally, we want the bulk of our money to be in that not assessed pile. Now, I've had some families ask me, well, what about 529s? Well, 529s are considered a asset of the parent. However, when we expose to the college, I've got a 529, the college is going to go, awesome, that's my money, I want it. And they're going to take 25%. 25% the freshman year, 25% the sophomore year, etc., until that is depleted. So again, sometimes it's prudent to move money from one owner to another owner, from student to parent. Sometimes it's prudent to move money from one financial product to another financial product. Each situation is unique and different, and we need to address the questions of, if we leave this money where it is, how will it impact us? If we move it, what is the ramifications, both positive and negative? And again, sometimes it is prudent to move it, sometimes not. Each situation is different and needs to be evaluated uniquely. The next strategy that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is pay as you go. Most colleges don't have a payment plan. Typically, they want a full semester up front or an entire year up front. Now, granted, there are some colleges that do have payment plans. For example, La Sierra in Riverside, California. Last time I looked at it, it was $70 a month is what their monthly fee was, on top of whatever the cost was. So again, typically they want a full semester up front. Another strategy that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we're going to borrow the money. And there is a loan called the PLUS loan, P-L-U-S, and that stands for Parent Loan of Undergraduate Students. And theoretically, if your student was admitted to Pepperdine, and we already talked about what the cost of Pepperdine was, which was $77,000 and change for 1 year, if that student was admitted to that particular college and did not receive any merit scholarships, theoretically that college could offer the parents a plus loan for $77,000. Please don't do that, by the way, okay? I had a family who came in for one of the free consultations because they wanted to know what the heck it was they were about to sign for. And they brought in their award letter. And the award letter is like an invoice. It lists all the scholarships, grants, loans, etc. that college is offering the student. When you apply to a college, your student will get 2 letters. The first letter is going to be the acceptance letter. Yes, you're admitted, or no, you're not. If it's a no letter, then that's the end of the conversation. If it's a yes letter, congratulations, you're admitted. Then a short while later, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even 2 months later, the college will send out a second letter, which is the award letter. And again, as I mentioned, that is like an invoice. And that invoice states, here's how much we're giving you in scholarships, grants, loans, work study. We're giving you an allowance for an iPad or a laptop, whatever. Well, this family came in and they showed me their award letter, and they were very excited because it said PLUS $25,000. And they were very excited because they thought the S stand for scholarship. And I had to tell them, I'm sorry, no, that is a loan, parent loan of undergraduate students. And they had 3 realizations. The first realization was, yeah, this is a loan, we got to pay it back. The second realization that they had was, yeah, this is a loan, we've got to pay it back now. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that student loans are deferred as long as the student remains in college. And that's true for student loans. This is a Parent Plus loan, and the Parent Plus loans are due 30 to 60 days after disbursement. So if your student starts college in September, around October, November, December, somewhere in that time frame, you'll get a statement with the first payment due. So that was their second realization. We got to pay it back now. And their third realization was, yeah, we can afford this on our income, and the payment is $525. But if we follow this path, we'll have to take out a second plus loan for his sophomore year for an additional $525. So those loans start stacking. Do it again junior year, that's $1,500. Do it again the senior year, that's $2,000 a month. And they're going, how in the world are we going to be able to afford that? That's just one of our 3 kids. I'm happy to report that they didn't go that route. In fact, if you go to my website, azcollegeplanning.com, click on the testimonials, you can see exactly what Denise says, which was our daughter Courtney finally graduated. All 3 of our kids are finally done. And Courtney graduated 100% debt-free, and we as parents, we did not take out any educational loans as well. And that's exactly where we want our students to start their lives, with as little or zero student loan debt. The other thing about the loans is that the interest that's charged on it is not tax deductible. Do consult with your CPA on that one. The next strategy that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we're going to use our home equity line of credit. I won't go into all the details on that. You guys know what that is. We'll kind of skip that one. And the last one is we're going to liquidate retirement accounts. So these are some of the ideas that families have considered as ways to pay for college. So let's talk about retirement accounts and that. I'm not advocating liquidating retirement accounts at all. Retirement accounts should be for retirement. But let's create a scenario where we got a family of 4 and this particular family, let's say that their adjusted gross income is $75,000. And their student, little Johnny, applies to a college that costs $50,000 a year. And this college identifies the student as, yeah, he's kind of the type of student that we want. We'll give him a half scholarship. So they offer him $25,000 in scholarships, and it's going to cost them $25,000 to go to that college. So follow me on the numbers here. So they make $75,000. It's going to cost $25,000. They're looking at it going, you know what? We've got money on our 401k. Let's pull that and use that to pay for college. So here's the double whammy on that one. The first one you're already aware of. If you're under age 59 and a half, you're going to get hit with those extra taxes and penalties. We know that. The second whammy actually hits them the next year when they're reapplying for financial aid the next year. So that next year, their income is no longer $75,000. Now it's plus the $25,000 that they took out. So add that onto their $75,000. Now their income is at $100,000. They're going to qualify for less need-based aid the second year. So again, before you move money around or any of that stuff, we need to know what the ramifications are, both positive and negative. Sometimes it's prudent to move money, sometimes not. Each situation needs to be evaluated uniquely. There are two main financial aid forms. I've had numerous conversations with parents, especially parents that have higher incomes and or higher assets. And I encourage all families to submit the financial aid forms. This one particular family comes to mind, and their student's name was John. I'll give you a little bit of demographic background on this family. Dad, he earned $1.2 million in his job. He had $4 million in his checking savings account. He had another several million in a brokerage account. He owned several million-dollar homes. It was just a wealthy family. And based on that information, this family would not qualify for any need-based aid at any college. Now, need-based aid is a calculation colleges determine based on the data and the numbers that are submitted through the financial aid forms. We'll talk about the two financial aid forms in just a moment. And Dad asked me, why should we fill out these forms? Because we're not going to qualify for anything. Why should we fill these forms out? Well, I explained to them that this is part of the game, part of the college game, it's part of the college dance. And I helped this family fill out their financial forms. The short of the story is John was admitted to a college in the DC area that was predominantly a need-based aid only college. So what that means is that if a college determines that a student qualifies for financial need, that college will give them some money. If the college determines through their formula that that student does not qualify for any need, then it will probably be expensive for that student to attend that college. That's what that means, okay? So this predominantly need-based aid only college admitted John because they wanted John, because they knew that he would make a positive impact on their rankings. And they also wanted Dad. The reason why they wanted Dad was they looked at Dad and said, he might be a future potential donor. John ended up being offered a half scholarship of about $30,000 a year. Both John and Dad were ecstatic. So these are some of the things that we can do, that we do at AZ College Planning. So the first financial aid form is the FAFSA form, and it's the free application for federal student aid. The website is fafsa.edu.gov. There's a lot of information available online about this website and about the FAFSA form and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that here. The second form is the CSS profile. This is the second form, and the CSS profile is administered by College Board, at collegeboard.org. College Board is the entity that created the SAT test. They also have the AP tests, CLEP, and a few other things. Typically, the more selective a college is, the more likely that that college is going to require the CSS profile. So as an example, Harvard, Stanford, Duke, those types of colleges require the CSS profile in addition to the FAFSA form. The CSS profile has a lot of redundant questions that are on the FAFSA. They're going to ask for both forms if a college requires a CSS profile. There are some strategic ways to fill out these forms to qualify for more need-based aid. Again, I'm not going to go into all the details on that. If you do have questions on these forms or how to leverage these forms, give me a call. I'll be happy to chat with you about that. When you are investigating colleges, and we're going to help you with investigating these colleges, there are 3 questions that need to be addressed. And the first question is, how much need will you meet? Some colleges are very generous, some colleges not so generous. And then some colleges which may appear to be generous may not necessarily be generous to a particular student. And again, that question is, how will the student impact our rankings, positive, neutral, or negative? So I've seen students apply to colleges that have been known to be very generous, and if the student was admitted, they may not get any scholarship money at that college. The key with that is marketing yourself to the college, showing the college, hey, you need me because I will make a positive impact on your rankings. So again, the first question, how much need will you meet? Here's the formula. The formula is COA minus EFC equals need. And COA is cost of attendance, and the EFC is the expected family contribution number, and that EFC number is calculated through the FAFSA form. It asks about 100 questions, and then it determines what your EFC number is. Once you submit the FAFSA form, it says, congratulations, your form has been submitted, your EFC is, and it gives you a number. Okay? One way to look at the EFC is like a deductible for insurance. Before the insurance company pays to repair or replace a vehicle, that deductible must be paid first. Before a college gives out any need-based aid, the deductible, the EFC, must be paid first. And in certain situations, with your insurance, sometimes they can waive that deductible because you're a good driver, long driving, good history, or something like that. So that makes you desirable for the insurance company. It's kind of the same thing with a college. If a student is desirable, they may waive that deductible, that EFC, or waive a portion of it. I've got a great EFC calculator here at the office that we can plug your numbers in, get an estimate. We can also play around with the numbers and go, okay, if we do this or we do that, here's how it's going to impact us. So for simple numbers, we're going to use these numbers. We're going to, like I mentioned earlier, ASU has a sticker price of about $30,000. We have an EFC of $10,000. Now that's the only variable on this webinar today is, I don't know what everybody's EFC number is, but we can definitely figure that out through my calculator. In this example, we're going to say it's $10,000, so we qualify for $20,000 of need. So now that question is, we qualify for that, how much of that are you going to actually give us? And in my example, I'm going to say that this college meets 75% of your need. So 75% of $20,000 is $15,000, which leaves us with $5,000 of what's called unmet need. Usually the parents pay the unmet need or take it out in a loan. So they'll add that into whatever the total cost is for that particular student for that particular year. If the unmet need is larger, that's called gapping. I've seen 2 students apply to a college, and for all intents and purposes, both sets of families make about the same amount of money, but one student is offered a really nice scholarship package and the other one is offered a mediocre scholarship package. For the student that was offered a mediocre scholarship package, there's a lot of questions that need to be addressed. And one of those questions is, did that student properly demonstrate interest in that college? And where does that student fit in the demographic of admitted students? If it's on the lower end, then they're going to lowball the scholarship package. Okay? So we want to properly market ourselves to the college so that college identifies us and says, yes, we need you to come to our school. Let's give you a great scholarship package. So a little bit truer cost for the student to attend this college, we've got our EFC of $10,000. We've got an unmet need of $5,000, so a truer cost is going to be about $15,000 for the student to attend in this example, as it shows on the screen here. This data can be found on the government's website, the National Center for Education Statistics. You can also find a link for that on my website, azcollegeplanning.com. All the colleges publish all this information. Sometimes it's a little bit cumbersome to dig through all that stuff, but it's all available. So first question, how much will you meet? Second question is, now that you're going to give me some money, how much of that's going to be gift aid and how much of that is going to be self-help? And gift aid is scholarships and grants. We want that. We want lots and lots of that. That's the free money that we get to apply to college. Think of a scholarship or grant as kind of like a big coupon, okay? $1,000 coupon or a $10,000 coupon, or in some scenarios, $50,000 or $60,000 coupon to apply towards college. So gift aid, scholarships, and grants. And the second category is self-help, which is loans and work study. All y'all know what loans are. And work study is when the student applies to the college and the college offers them a job through either the college or one of the college entities, and they'll do whatever job. My daughter was offered a work study job at her college, and the job that she was offered was in campus security. And I said, when I was talking with my daughter, I said, tell me you got the sweet hours. And she says, yep, I got the 11 p.m. to the 3 a.m. shift. Okay. When I was in college, I went to Biola University in Los Angeles. When I went to college, I got a work study job in the cafeteria, cleaning off the trays in the cafeteria there. And I did not last very long because you know what college kids do, their food trays after? Gross. I ended up getting some other work study jobs while I was in college. So, going back to our question, how much will be gift aid and how much will be self-help? That $15,000, we qualified for 20. They're going to only give us $15,000. Of that $15,000, what's the split on that? How much will be gift aid and how much will be self-help? And again, I like to use simple numbers. And in this scenario, 50% of that's going to be gift aid, 50% of that's going to be self-help. Okay. And the third question, which is probably the most important question, and that is, what is the average graduation timeline? How long is it going to take my student to graduate from your college? The average college student, please don't be average. The average college student takes 6 years to graduate. And the reason is because they flip-flop between majors, which pushes the graduation window out further and further. Every time a student changes majors, they have to reset, start taking a whole new batch of classes, and that pushes the graduation window out. If you go to my website, azcollegeplanning.com, there's a link on there for the college results. You can type in the name of any college and get some statistical information about the college. In the example we have here on the screen, the 6-year graduation rate at NAU is 53%. Why is it taking these students so long to graduate? And again, the answer is because students flip-flop between majors. So one of the things that we do at AZ College Planning is we help students research careers, majors, and then colleges. And when we're looking at careers, we want to answer 2 questions. And those 2 questions are, what is the job growth for that industry? Can we get a job? And the second question is, what's the pay? If there's good growth and good pay, we'll keep it on our list. Otherwise, we might need to look at some different things. So AZ College Planning, we're going to help with that stuff. We do have an award-winning career assessment tool that I can plug your students in to help them identify all these things. Plus, we'll look at your students' demographic and help them market and sell themselves to colleges so the college says, yes, you will make a positive impact on our rankings and admit them and give them a nice scholarship package. So I want to tell you my story. Yep, that's me. That's my senior picture. When I was in my senior year of high school, I met with my guidance counselor. When I walked into her office, she said, "Hi, JD, you're a good artist. You should be an art major." And I thought about it for about 37 seconds. And that was about how much time I spent with my guidance counselor. It was about a minute. And when I went home, I thought about it, and I thought, well, artists don't make any money. I need to do something else. Well, at that same time, there was a TV show on, and maybe some of you remember the show. It was called 30-something. And in that show, there were 2 main characters that owned an ad agency. And I thought, oh, I'll be a graphic designer. Also at that same time, I was talking with a friend of mine who was a freshman at Biola University while I was a senior in high school. And he says, JD, you got to come to the school. It's so awesome. The girls here are so cute. And we have the most amazing beach bonfire parties. And they did. They were great fun parties. And I asked and said, do they have a graphics department? And he says, yep. And I said, dude, I'm in. And that's how much thought went into me picking my career major in college. Now, one of the things that I ended up doing in college was positive was I got an internship. The negative portion of that is I got an internship in the middle of my junior year at a graphics house and decided I don't want to do this anymore, and I don't want to do this the rest of my life, so I had to reset. I do recommend that your students look for internships early on in the process, definitely freshman, sophomore year of college, but you can even look for an internship while you're still in high school. We have some ideas on how to go about doing that stuff. So yes, we can help you with that. So let me tell you a couple stories. Here's a story about Lynn. When Lynn came into the office with her dad, and when you and your student come into the office, I'm going to ask the same question, and that question is, do you have any colleges that you're thinking about? Do you have any dream schools that you're considering? And Lynn's dad says, yes, she's going to go to NAU because that's all I can afford. And I said, let's play the game. And playing the game means applying to 6 to 12 colleges. During that process of helping Lynn, I helped her identify those colleges. I helped and showed her how to properly market and sell herself to these colleges. We came up with a list of colleges. We helped her with her essays. We helped her with her resume. All of those things. We helped her with all that stuff. And ultimately, she applied to 7 colleges. Of the 7 colleges, she was admitted to 5 of them. And of the 5, 2 of them fell off the wayside pretty early in the process for one reason or another. And it came down to these 3 colleges: Willamette University, Whitman, and NAU. Well, the first college that admitted her was Willamette University. And at the time that she was applying to this college. The sticker price of the school back in 2010 was $50,000 a year. She was offered about $25,500 in scholarships, so about half the cost of the college. So Dad's net cost was about $20,000 per year. Lynn was on cloud 9 for days. Dad not quite so much because we still got a $20,000 gap. The second college that admitted her was NAU, and Dad's out-of-pocket net cost per year was about $10,650. Dad says, you know what, that's a little bit more affordable. I could do that, but I'd rather not pay that much. And then the third college that admitted her was Whitman College. And Whitman offered her $40,750 in scholarships and grants. And Dad's net cost was about $5,000. What's amazing and awesome about that scholarship package that Lynn was offered is that covered 2 study abroads. She did one in Peru and one in Japan, and that was all covered through her scholarship. The question is, why did that college give her an amazing scholarship package? And the answer is simple, because that college needed her. She made a positive impact on one or more rankings that was valued by the college. Yeah, she had good grades and good test scores. However, one category was she was a girl going to a mostly male-dominated major, and she was an Arizona kid going to college in the state of Washington, and that is geographic diversity. And that was one thing that this particular college valued, was geographic diversity. Some colleges value that, some don't. We want to find out what each college values, and then we want to market ourselves towards that. So we properly positioned Lynn. We showed her how to market herself to the college, so that college looked at her and says, yes, we need you to come to our school because you have a positive impact on our rankings. So let's kind of go over a quick comparison between 2 colleges. We're going to go over ASU and Claremont McKenna. So ASU's sticker price I mentioned earlier was about $30,000, $29,891. We have an EFC of $8,320. And that is a real EFC for one of my families. And we did some things strategically to get them to that number. So if we do the math on it, we have a need of $21,577. And ASU historically meets about 61% of the need. So in this scenario, they're going to meet $13,162, and if we subtract that, that leaves us with an unmet need of $8,415. So now we qualified for $21,500. They're going to only give us $13,162. Of that $13,000 that they're going to give us, what's the split on it? And the split is 53% gift aid, 47% self-help. So they're going to give the student about $6,976 in scholarship and grant, and about $6,100 in self-help in loan or work study, or a combination of those two, for an upfront cost of $16,735. Now on the other column, we got Claremont McKenna that has a sticker price of $73,000. Our EFC is still the same, $8,320. That EFC is going to be the same regardless of whichever college the student applies to, whether it be ASU, whether it be Claremont, whether it be Scottsdale Community College, or even Stanford. That EFC is going to be the same. If we subtract those two, we've got a need of $65,455. And Claremont McKenna, they state that they meet 100% of our need. And there are a handful of colleges that state that same thing. We meet 100% of your need, and we'll give it to you all in loans. Well, thanks, but no thanks. Claremont McKenna, on the other side, is a wealthy college. They have $500 million in their endowment fund and have been known to be very generous. They do meet 100%, so they're going to give the student $65,000 in aid, the whole amount that we qualified for, and the split is 92% gift aid and 8% self-help. So they're going to give this student $60,218 in scholarship and grant, and $5,273 in self-help, which is loan or work study, for an upfront cost of $8,320. Now, is that really our true cost? No, we've got one more number to add in there, and that number is the loan. Self-help, that needs to be paid back because it's a loan or in man hours. And when we add that for ASU, our sticker price is $22,920, $21. On the flip side, for Claremont is $13,577. Please don't throw out a college based solely on the sticker price, on the COA, the cost of attendance, until you run all of these numbers. So let me give you a few more examples of a few more stories. McConnell's story is he applied to 9 colleges. He was admitted to all of them. Again, I showed him how to market and sell himself to these colleges. He got great scholarship packages from multiple schools. And ultimately, NYU wanted him the most because they gave him the best scholarship package. He was offered $65,820 in scholarships per year. And McConnell is currently in his senior year. And he was offered this each and every year. Yes, he had to do some things to maintain that scholarship package, which was get a minimum GPA in order to renew that scholarship package. So NYU looked at him and said, yes, he would make a positive impact on our rankings. So what was it? It was that McConnell did not apply to NYU as a theater major. If you look at NYU, it's about 35 to 40% of the students who attend NYU are in the theater department. And they looked at McConnell and said, awesome, we need more kids in these other departments. Let's give them a spot. What is best in life? What's better than a scholarship? What's better than a scholarship is getting full tuition. What's better than getting full tuition? When you talk to some families, especially some students that are admitted to the in-state schools here in Arizona, ASU, U of A, and NAU, and they mention that they got a full ride at ASU, be very skeptical, because most of the time it's not a true full ride, but what it really is full tuition. And the tuition at ASU is about $11,000, $12,000. Okay, when we look at the total cost of attendance at that school of $30,000, I'm not going to say no to $11,000, $12,000, but where is the other $18,000 going to come from? Okay. So what's better than full tuition? Getting a full ride. And a full ride is 100% of everything is covered by the college. What's better than a full ride? And that's getting paid to go to college. So I'll read what it says on the screen here. It says, Rohit was admitted, and he was offered all tuition and mandatory fees for 4 years, 8 semesters. He was offered $4,000 per semester cash stipend. He was also offered $1,500 per semester on-campus housing stipend, and a one-time $6,000 award for study abroad. If we take those numbers, $4,000 times 2 for 2 semesters, and then the $1,500 for 2 semesters, and we add those together, that's about $11,000. After we subtract what the cost is for his dorm room and his meal plan, he was netting about $3,000. So what is best? Getting paid to go to college. And that's what this student was offered at this particular college. Yes, that's available. Is that available at every college? Not necessarily, but it is an option at some colleges. Here's another example. Nicole, she recently graduated from WashU. She was offered $45,465 in scholarships per year. Her parents' net cost was $11,000, which really is an amazing, amazing scholarship package. Here's another example. Bruce was admitted to University of Notre Dame. $51,000 in scholarships is what he earned. His parents' net cost about $13,000. When I was having a conversation with Dad after I helped Bruce get into these colleges and get the scholarship package, Dad said that he thought my tagline, "It could be cheaper to go to an out-of-state private college than to attend an in-state school," was just a sales pitch until he actually saw the award letter for his son Bruce. And then we did it again with his daughter going to TCU. Now, JD, are all of these students super brainiacs with perfect GPAs and perfect test scores? No, not necessarily. Here's an example. I won't tell you the name of the student, but she had a 2.3 GPA, so she didn't have perfect grades. Her SAT, ACT score was about average. The long of the short story of it is, it was less expensive for her to attend this private college than it would have been for her to attend ASU. So Spring Hill College looked at this particular student and said, yes, she will make an impact, a positive impact on our rank on some of these different categories that we value as ranked. And that's why they offered her that particular scholarship package, even though her grades were below par. I love to tell this story about Tanner. When Tanner came into the office, he says, JD, I'm going to apply to the Air Force Academy because I want to fly jets, and that's the only school I'm going to apply to. And I said, please play the game. And playing the game is applying to, in Tanner's case, is applying to all the military academies and every ROTC program and have a backup plan. And Tanner agreed to all that. A little while later, Tanner and I had another meeting, and as we were talking, Tanner said he was really excited because he got his ACT score, and he was looking at the Air Force's website, and the minimum ACT score for admission at the Air Force Academy was 25, and he had a 26. And he says, what do you think? And I said, I'm sorry, Tanner, based on that test score, you probably won't get in. You're going to need to improve your score. So we plugged Tanner into my program. It's called Beat the Test. And in that class, we teach students how to beat the test, whether it's the SAT, ACT, all of those are standardized tests. Because they are a standardized test, they have to follow a pattern. So we teach students how to identify those patterns. Tanner went through the program and took the test again, and he ended up with a 29 ACT score. Awesome, amazing. He was admitted to the Merchant Marine Academy and is now flying jets for the Air Force. I also love to tell this story about Jonathan. Jonathan, I helped him apply to a bunch of colleges, and it came down to this one particular college that he was very interested in, and that was George Fox University, which is up in the Portland, Oregon area. Jonathan, his parents, and I had a roundtable conversation, and his parents said, we're willing to pay X dollars for you to go to college. Anything above that, that's going to be on you, the student, whether that be scholarships or loans or whatever. And we looked at the award package that Jonathan was offered, and the amount of scholarships that the college was offering and the amount of money that the parents were willing to give, we were about $5,000 short. And Jonathan says, I've got an idea. What if I defer admission? I'll go get a job, save up some money, I'll save up $5,000, and then I'll go to college. I said, no, let's do this. Jonathan, here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to call the college and speak with your recruiter contact, speak with your enrollment advisor. And Jonathan, do you know who your enrollment advisor is? Now I'm asking him some loaded questions because I had already instructed him on how to find who his enrollment advisor was, who his college recruiter was, and start cultivating a rapport with that person. I said, you know who this person is? He said, oh yeah. I said, I want you to call them on the phone, and I want you to say this. Thank you very much for admitting me. My parents and I have had a conversation, and they are willing to pay for a portion of my college. However, the amount of money that they're willing to pay versus the scholarship that was offered, I'm $5,000 short. What can I do? And poof, magically another $5,000 in scholarships appeared. The college did their whatevers and offered him an additional $5,000. Jonathan went to George Fox University, graduated on time in 4 years. Here's a couple more examples. Adele, who's Bruce's younger sister, she was offered $216,000 in scholarships over the course of 4 years at TCU. This is her brother again. 204 is what he got at Notre Dame over the course of 4 years. Here's Cole. He was admitted to LA Tech, and he was offered 100% of tuition plus. He was offered the total cost of tuition plus an additional extra above that, which covered about half of his dorm. Chad was admitted to Vandy, $231,000 over the course of 4 years. Here again is McConnell, $263,000 over the course of 4 years for NYU. Again, here's a picture of Nicole, $181,000. Here's another picture of another student at TCU. I helped him identify a handful of colleges. He got some really great scholarship packages at multiple schools. Ultimately, he chose TCU because that was his first choice, and it ended up being his first choice because they ended up giving him the best scholarship package. I've got another student who graduated from NAU, 100% debt-free. His younger brother is also on track of graduating 100% debt-free, and now we're working with a third brother, and he's going to be on track to graduate 100% debt-free, just as his two older brothers did. And we helped him with all of that stuff. So you're next. You are next. If you do the work, follow the plan, do these things, there is a strong possibility that you will get into some great colleges and get some amazing scholarship packages. How are we going to do that? We're going to do things on purpose. And what I mean by that is purposefully market yourself to colleges, purposefully start developing rapport with specific key individuals at colleges that will help you help and become your advocate to help you get into these different colleges. We've got, at AZ College Planning, I have a strategic plan for any student. It doesn't matter what grades or test scores or where they want to go. We can create a strategic plan for any one of those students. I got another great story of another student. She was offered a true full ride at U of A, and she was actually offered more in scholarships than the total cost of attendance. So she got a refund of about $2,000 or $3,000. So she's getting paid to go to college about $2,000 or $3,000. I've had conversations with some parents, and they ask, when should we start? And the answer is as early as possible. You've probably seen or heard this ancient Chinese proverb, and that is, what is the best time to plant a tree? And that, of course, is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So the earlier you start in the process, the easier it will be to obtain some incredible scholarships. If you have a high school junior or senior, especially if we've got a senior, we got to really kick it into high gear really fast. We've got a very small window of time for our seniors. For juniors, we still got the remainder of your junior year plus a portion of the senior year to start marketing and presenting ourselves to colleges. Sophomores and freshmen, we've got a nice window with that. I have started with some students as early as 7th and 8th grade, getting them prepared for this process. As an example, one of my students, Jared, who started the process at the end of his 8th grade year, when he was a senior in high school, he was in the range to qualify for a full ride, and he was offered a full ride at one of the highly desirable colleges that was on his list. I had another student, Alex, who we also started with in 7th grade, and with that particular student, I encouraged that 7th grader to start taking the SATs in 7th grade. There really isn't an age minimum to take the tests. And he took the test, and he did pretty good on it. That gave him a little bit of confidence boost. He took the SAT again, and we did plug him into the Beat the Test program, so he got some pretty good scores from that. Took the test again as freshman, sophomore, and in his junior year, nailed it and got an amazing SAT score. Jump forward to January of his senior year, he was sitting on 3 full rides. Okay, which college do I go to? I'm like, I don't know. Pick whichever one you want. Okay. Here's another example, $39,900 in scholarships. It was less expensive for this student to go to Illinois Institute of Technology than it would have been for him to go to ASU. So, I want to tell your success story. I want to help you along that process. At AZ College Planning, our services include meeting with the students one-on-one, helping them craft an individual game plan. We also have some parent meetings, and I host a variety of different classes. I mentioned the Beat the Test class. We've got a study class, a marketing class, application and essay class, and a lot more. All that stuff is available to look at on my website. You can check all that stuff out. So if you would like a complimentary consultation, please send me an email and I will contact you to schedule this meeting. If you are a current client and we haven't talked for a bit, call me to schedule a meeting to catch up and create a game plan. And again, if you'd like a complimentary consultation, give me a call. I'll be happy to schedule a meeting with you. Please include your phone number that you can reach during the day. And when you come in for your free consultation, I will be very frank with you and say, yes, I can help you, or no, I can't help you. If I cannot help you, I will point you in the right direction and say, this is what you need to do, go do that. If I say, yes, I can help you, then I already know in the back of my mind that we're going to do some really great things for you. And at that point, I will offer an extension for you to become a client and a member of the AZ College Planning family. And what I charge for my services is $39.97. I am very good at what I do. And when I offer that membership spot, I already know that if your student follows my proprietary plan, you will reap 3, 4, 5, even 10 times my investment fee in scholarships, just as some of the examples that I shared. So if you would like a complimentary consultation, please do send me an email, jd@azcollegeplanning.com, and we can schedule something. If you are local in the Scottsdale, Maricopa County area, you can come to my office, or we can schedule a virtual appointment. Looking at my chat, it doesn't look like we've got any questions here. So I will conclude with thank you very much. Please tell your friends about AZ College Planning, and have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.